Hi guys, welcome back. I'm so excited to make another video. And as you see, I have my friends from church and we're focusing on the topic on why do millennials leave the church. Alrighty guys, so the reason why I chose this topic is because I think it's huge. Not just millennials, there's many people throughout our nation that are just leaving the church. And why I wanted to focus on this is because I think it's sad that when you being raised in church and then just leaving, it just doesn't make sense. And for me, it's really heartbreaking. So for you guys, what do you guys think? What are the reasons why millennials or even teenagers, like once the moment they turn 18, why do they even leave church? Like, what's one of the reasons that you guys can come up with?
Well, I think that millennials leave church because a lot of times they don't feel at home. Like, and we try our best to make people feel at home, but sometimes we don't, and a lot of the times people judge so easily, even when we're going through stuff, and it's not easy for us to make them feel at home. It's not even easy for us to feel at home ourselves, and we portray people, and then they don't feel secure about themselves or about being there, so they decide to leave.
So they feel judged.
Yeah,
That's true.
even though it's not our intention, it's not what we're trying to portray, of course, but we're all human.
Yeah, that's true. What would you say, Monique? Like,
I can speak from experience where I've made relationships with the people instead of making a relationship with God. So I think that's one of the main reasons that they leave church. They don't feel a relationship, that they don't make God their foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's...
oh, that makes sense. That's true. What about you, David?
Honestly, I think one of the main things is that it's overwhelming to be a Christian in this world, and especially if you're young.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're growing up going to Bible school each Sunday, and then you go to school the rest of the week with your friends that are not Christian, and you're like juggling between I'm a Christian but I'm also human.
Yeah.
And it's just overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. I honestly as well heard an interview about this topic where millennials feel like they're not valued, their voice, as well as what they were saying. Just the way Jasmine was saying that they feel judged, but I feel like sometimes they don't address it in a loving way.
Yeah.
It's where it comes where it's very uncomfortable. And then I think, I don't know if they mentioned this, but my favorite thing, well, not my favorite thing, but I think one of the main things would be that they don't feel welcome. And yeah, well, it's kind of like the judging. So what would you say, who would be ready to answer what would be your solution?
Well, honestly, I think like mine and Monique's answers kind of go hand in hand, because when we go to church to just look for a relationship or look for friendship, which is totally okay, but when you're just looking for that itself, then you're missing out on the whole experience that God has for you. So in all actuality, we shouldn't be seeking somebody else. We should be seeking God, because He's gonna tell us the right answer. He's the one that's gonna give us light. He's gonna be like, look, this person is going through something. How about you be there for that person instead of just letting it be about ourselves?
That's
yeah,
true.
and kind of emphasizing on what she said, it's the ultimate relationship that we should be focused on, and is our relationship with God instead of the relationship with people, because He has, yes, He has called us to love on people and create relationships with them, and we need mentors and leaders in our lives.
Yeah.
But the most important relationship is our intimate relationship with God.
And a lot of the times we mistake that because, when we go through something, it's like, for example, what's your favorite fruit?
Strawberries.
Strawberries. Okay, well, what's your favorite fruit?
I like mangoes.
Persimmons? Persimones?
I don't know what that
There's
is. I'll go with strawberries.
Persimmons. Se llaman persimones en español.
En inglés se llama persimmons.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll go with strawberries, When a strawberry looks good, like a lot of times the strawberry will look good, but when it doesn't taste good, that outside of the strawberry, then you're like, oh, it's fake. When in all actuality, you want the sweetness of it.
Yeah, that's true.
In God, we grow our sweetness, and it's not all about looks, because a lot of times we judge people, you know, and we judge them by their cover. So, oh, she's pretty, or oh, she's gonna do this, and when we get to know that person and they're sweet, then that makes it so much better, you know. But when we judge that person and it's just like superficial, then we don't want it. Like, we don't want that strawberry when it's bitter.
That's true.
We're going to read Jeremiah 17, verse 9 to 10. It says, "The heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Who can understand it? I, the Lord, search the heart and the mind to reward each person according to their conduct, according to what their deeds deserve." That's not cool.
So what does that mean?
This verse is talking about the heart, the human heart. You know, that it's sometimes complex. You know, that we sometimes ourselves we don't even understand ourselves, and I think that's where the heart gets overwhelmed. You know, our heart gets overwhelmed when we're trying to juggle with our personal life and with our Christian life, and who we're supposed to be in front of the church, who we're supposed to be with our family, and who we're supposed to be with ourselves. And I think that this is that time when the enemy comes and strikes.
Yeah.
You know, and most people, you know, sometimes the enemy does succeed. You know, he does tip over the heart to leave church. And I think that something that helps is to guard your heart.
Guard your heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guard your heart because,
Proverbs 4:23.
yes.
At times, when we're juggling, you know, Christianity and then our regular lives, and a lot of the times the enemy tries to attack us in our identity.
Yes.
That's
And
true. That is
That's
so true.
That's where millennials might feel their least strength at, and they leave church because they don't even know who they are. So why would they keep going to somewhere and feel uncomfortable, you know? But a lot of the times when we feel like that, we should pursue God more, because, you know, our identity lies in God. And the enemy will try to get us to leave church because we're going to find ourselves in him. And once we do that, you know, there's no going back.
Yeah. So you guys gather your thoughts of what you would say. Like, well, I don't know if you guys already said it, or you guys already feel like you've already said it, but like for me, I would definitely share with people to say that in this world, there's going to be people that will fail you. You guys know that, like, humans, we're imperfect. And for me, I've experienced, especially as a millennial, even when I was a teenager, I've experienced where humans have let me down. And for me, the reason why I came back to church, and I'm so glad that God brought me back, is because He's the only person and God that will never fail me.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why I don't leave, because I'm just like, my mom's gonna fail me, my dad's gonna fail me, my friends, even once, if that's God's plan, if I get married, even my husband's gonna fail me, you know, but God will never fail me. That's why I honestly suggest to anybody who's watching this that think about it in that way, where, you know what, whatever my experience was when I went to church and, oh man, they judged me, oh man, I didn't feel welcome, whatever the case is, you need to strive to seek your relationship, make that relationship with God, because at the end of the day, once you leave this earth, this is who you're going to face.
Yeah.
It comes down to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys, anything else
Well,
you guys want to say before we say goodbye?
My advice for somebody, I guess, you know, is, well, first of all, have your foundation in God. But even when you go through something, don't think that problem, that situation is not going to be resolved, because when you have God, then you'll move mountains. Now, when you're going through a certain situation, my advice is for you is to think and change your perspective, and instead of leaving church, seek for advice, seek for mentorship. And because once you go over that obstacle, you know, you're gonna find and you're gonna discover that somebody else is gonna need you, and God is gonna use that situation that you went through to advise and mentor somebody else. So whatever it may be that you're going through, you know, and as she said, people are gonna let you down, even yourself, you know. I've let myself down.
Oh, you and
And a lot of the times we go away from God because we think, well, I'm not even worthy of, but God says that you are. And no matter the problem that you're facing, no matter the situation that you've placed yourself in, you know, there is a way to get out of it, and there is light out of that tunnel.
What about you, Monique? What would you say?
Just like Jasmine said earlier, that we find our identity in God. It goes hand in hand in saying that we find our foundation in God. And just like He wants us to die to ourselves, like we are not supposed to focus on people or being overwhelmed, but be that have that godly foundation. And remember, guys, that just to make Him your rock, because He's your foundation, and it's gonna rhyme, and He's your salvation. And it says in Psalm 62, that's what it says: He alone is my rock and my salvation, my fortress. I shall not be greatly shaken. So
That's
just
good.
remember that, guys.
Awesome. And David, what do you have to say? For
You know,
your...
my advice for any overwhelmed millennial out there, it's in John 16:13. When the Spirit of truth comes, He would guide you into all truth. You know, sometimes we become overwhelmed by the world and by what we're living through,
Yeah.
but we can always go to the Holy Spirit
Mm-hmm.
for guidance, and He will never fail us.
That's
He
right.
never
Awesome.
will.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you guys were able to come and make this video, guys. I'm honestly, like, from the bottom of my heart, I'm very truly blessed, because I needed, like, you guys that are in Christ and in church. And I hope that this video was helpful for you guys that are watching, because we all go through trials, and I know this is like a huge thing that happens. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and subscribe, guys. Subscribe and like my video. Goodbye, guys.
¿Qué onda? ¿Qué está pasando? ¿Por qué pasó esto?